With the first pick in the 2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU.
And there you see Joe with mom and dad, and you have to wonder what's going through his mind right now. Remember,
Cincinnati fourth.
Now for the Cincinnati Bengals, who had the first overall selection in the 2020 draft, took Joe Burrow. Week 1, they play host to the Los Angeles Chargers, and they're going to come out with a win. I think Joe Burrow is one of the most pro-ready quarterbacks to enter the NFL in quite some time. So the Bengals feeling pretty good about themselves, 1-0. They go on the road to the Cleveland Browns, a team that I think is going to be much better because of their improvements on the offensive line. The Browns take that one. The Bengals get another tough game in week 3. They're on the road in Philadelphia. The Eagles are much too tough for them. Carson Wentz, that team should be a lot better than their 9-7 mark last year. So the Eagles get the win there. Week 4, the Bengals play host to the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that is rebuilding right now. They traded away a lot of their defensive standouts. They've got some issues on the offensive line. The Bengals win this game and prove to 2-2. Week 5 on the road at Baltimore. Let's be realistic. The Ravens are going to win this one. Perhaps it could be a trap game for the Ravens, but I still like Baltimore in that one. Week 6, the Bengals have another tough matchup. This is a tough schedule, tough little stretch for them. They go up against the Indianapolis Colts with Phillip Rivers. Got the Colts winning that one. The Bengals at home playing their in-state rivals, the Cleveland Browns, get their 3rd win of the season. The Bengals already surpassed last year's win total with a win over the Cleveland Browns. And the week before the bye, they got the Tennessee Titans, a team that made it all the way to the AFC Championship game last year. The Titans take that one. Then it's on to the bye week. They return in week 10 on the road at Pittsburgh. The Steelers will handle them. But week 11, the Bengals again on the road, this time in our nation's capital, facing Ron Rivera and the Washington Redskins. The Bengals are going to take this one. I think this Bengals team, drafting Tee Higgins and surrounding him with so much talent, I think that this is going to be a good opportunity. I think this Bengals team is going to score a lot more than they did last year. Now, they had 14 games last year with fewer than 25 points. That's not going to be a problem this year. Week 12, the Bengals lose at the Giants. They go on the road in week 13, where they'll probably lose to the Miami Dolphins, who will be scuffling along. And then another tough stretch for the Bengals. They play host to the Cowboys. We got Dallas winning that one. They got the Steelers coming in the following week. The Steelers take that one. You go on the road in week 16 to face the Houston Texans. They're going to be a little bit too much for you. And then week 17, a chance to play.
And there was the sack. We just established it, and there they do it. The streak is alive. Bad news for Cincinnati fans. Oh, Joe Burrow was bent sideways. It looked like his left leg, oh no, the #1 pick in the draft looks to be seriously hurt, grabbing at his left leg. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, this is a terrible thing. We'll see. We'll stay with this right now. Just because we want to be able to show you everything, we'll wait to see one replay, but I'm guessing this is not going to look good. Ryan Finley there is the backup quarterback. Stay with this right now, guys. We'll see if they'll show us a replay of the #1 overall pick in the draft. Joe Burrow, the franchise quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, who has been starting since day one, basically since the draft. Zach Taylor, the head coach, showing obvious concern for the franchise quarterback. He had been really effective for
his athleticism.
And there is Joe Burrow being carted off the field in Cincinnati. Burrow was on pace to break the rookie records for passing yards, passing attempts.
5 through 8, and the choices made this morning.
Yeah, the thing that was really disappointing was our friend Mo Eggers out of Cincinnati. You know, yesterday we saw this Super League just disband overnight. If the Cincinnati Bengals don't draft an offensive tackle, they should be disbanded and revoked from the NFL. Keyshawn was 1,000% right. Last year, this is remarkable, guys. Joe Burrow threw the ball 450 times in 10 games. Unacceptable. They cannot go out on the field this year unless they draft an offensive tackle, Penei Sewell, with the 5th pick. I don't care if it's the U.S. Olympic track team out there, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, if they trade for him, I don't care. They got to keep this guy upright and healthy. It was irresponsible what they did last year. They should have been more two-back. offensive sets, 2 tight ends. They should have protected Joe Burrow. It was irresponsible, and it bothers me when people say, oh, just get him another weapon. Oh, how many games would he play this year? He played 10 last year. You want him playing 6 or 4? So when Mo Eggers said they can't make a mistake, yeah, Mo, you made a mistake because you picked the wrong guy.
5 if you're Cincinnati, and what do they need to address besides those 2 positions?
I think the key to this is going to be the second round, because how do you evaluate the offensive tackles you can get in round 2 as opposed to the receivers that you like in round 2? So, and who do you think can be there? If you love, say, De'Ami Brown from North Carolina, do you think that maybe a Terrace Marshall Jr., because the injury concern could still be there, and you like him, you want to take a chance on him? If you like Spencer Brown, say, an offensive tackle from Northern Iowa, who's huge and tested great and had a heck of a career at Northern Iowa, then you think, okay, we got some tack. James Hudson III, Liam Eichenberg, Notre Dame, somebody like that. Dylan Radins, North Dakota State. So it just depends how they grade those players out, because I really believe they're going to come out of those first 2 rounds. They need to have a receiver who can go vertical and take the top off the defense. They need that. They also need an offensive lineman, because Riley Reese on a 1-year deal at right tackle. And if you drafted a tackle, you can play him at guard. Certainly that's where Penei Sewell would play right away. So it's tough with Jamar Chase, who was with Burrow. Makes it a very complicated field, Todd, to what Cincinnati's going to do. But I do think the second round and how they rank those guys and who they want to take a chance would be there will impact that pick. It's trending a little bit to Chase. I would have a tough time passing up Sewell, but I understand if they take Chase why they would do it.
Yeah, I think one of the questions people are going to wonder, Mel, is so separate and apart from whether you believe they should take a pass catcher or a pass protector, do you evaluate Penei Sewell at the level for offensive tackles that you do Jamar Chase at the level for wide receivers?
I do. And I think you have to look at it as well. Now, both of them opted out. Chase was a 1-year guy, and you love what you saw in that 1 year. But Sewell was a 1.5-year guy, injured a little bit, but flawless kid. Had he played this year, I think we would have been talking about him in the same breath as the Orlando Paces and the Jonathan Ogden and the Basellis and the Walter Joneses and all the guys that went high at the offensive tackle, the left tackle spot. The fact that he didn't play, he opted out, as did Jamar Chase, makes it a little bit more of a discussion. But I do think Chase and Sewell are rated right where they need to be for Cincinnati to make a pick that they feel very comfortable with. I don't know what they're going to do. Like I say, you hear a little bit about Chase. I think it's hard because of the hit rate for tackle as opposed to wide receiver. You're kind of fighting the odds there a little bit. But if you believe in Chase and you believe in the physicality he brings to that position and the incredible talent he is, and the workout that showed he kept himself in shape and was ready to roll from a football standpoint, Joe Burrow would be thrilled with that pick. Only problem I have, Todd and Field, is the offensive line. They got to address it, not only in the second round, but probably another round or 2. So 3 offensive linemen, I think, would need to come in via the draft for the Cincinnati Bengals to offset not taking a tackle, say, like Sewell in the first round.
One of the interesting parts of the Sewell versus Chase dilemma is sometimes when you evaluate it, it's what if this guy's a 10-year all-pro at his position?
McFarland to keep their young quarterback safe.
Greeny, if they don't draft an offensive lineman, they're committing malpractice. The last time we saw Joe Burrow, his knee was going the wrong way. You have to protect your franchise quarterback. They have to take an offensive lineman.
There are 2 of them tonight, Mel, right, that seem to be a cut above the rest, Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater.
They are. Penei Sewell opted out, as did Slater, didn't play. Penei Sewell, I think about a year and a half as a starter, was almost flawless at Oregon. There's some things he needed to improve on that he didn't have a chance to because he opted out. So people say, well, he's not Orlando Pace, Jonathan Ogden, Tony Baselli. He didn't have a chance to be. He didn't play this year. But I think this is the thing. Do you protect Burrow, or do you get a weapon that can take a top off the defense, something they don't have right now?
What do you think, Lewis?
Yeah, look, I would always build it inside out, front to back. I say it over and over and over again. Get the offensive lineman. It's going to be awful tempting, I think.
Roger Goodell is making that walk. Bear in mind, Joe Burrow can't really lose either way. Do they get him a weapon, maybe his old teammate from LSU and Jamar Chase, or do they get him the protection up front that he so desperately needs in Cincinnati? We will find out right now. Here comes Roger Goodell with pick number 5.
With the 5th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU.
Wow.
Look, he's a terrific player. Let's start with that, Booger. I understand your feelings. Many people will feel the same way. They should get protection for Joe Burrow, and maybe as the draft goes on, they will. But you know better than anybody from LSU, this is a special receiver.
Well, he's a special receiver. He's an X-receiver. You can put him out there against the best DBs in the NFL and say, hey, I'm not going to run motion for you. I'm not going to do anything. It's going to be one-on-one coverage, and you can go out there and win, Greeny. He can do it all. He's big. He's physical. He is absolutely fast. And Greeny, here's the thing I love about it. There's not anything he can't do. You say you want a guy that can go deep. He runs 4-3 against Terrell. Over the top, touchdown. Strike up the band. The Zebras are going to raise their arms. You say you want a guy that can run routes against Patrick Surtain, who thinks going to be the first DB taken. Look at the separation on an inside slant route against Surtain. So you have the speed. Now you have the route running ability. But the thing that I love is the competitiveness. When the ball is in the air, it can be the offensive ball, it can be the defensive ball. But I want a guy that can go up and make the contested catches, and he can do it all. Snatching the ball on top of the defender's head. Give me that ball. That's my ball. So he's everything you want in a number one receiver.
It's an interesting point. You can question the decision, but you don't question the player under any circumstances. Mel, last year, many people thought that was the best top of the receiver class we had ever seen. If Jamar Chase had been in that class, where would he have been?
Right there at the top. You think about where he is right now with Joe Burrow. Back with Joe Burrow. 20 touchdown passes Burrow threw to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase from 2018 to 2019 made dramatic improvement. He had some drops in 2018. Who came in? Joe Brady came in. Worked with the receiver. Got that offense going. Jamar Chase eliminated the drops in 2019. Became a great player. Then he has pro day. Ran 4.38, 6'1.5", 200-pounder vertical with 41, Boog.
Yes.
This is a case where you say, okay, you got Riley Reif, a veteran, to be the right tackle. You got Jonah Williams, former first-round pick, to be the left tackle. Penei Sewell would have played guard. He would have played guard as a rookie. They can get one in the second round. That's probably what Duke Tobin, player personnel director, feels. We can get that type of player, that interior guy, in round 2. We won't get a guy with the skill set of Chase. Now, I'm big on Devontae Smith. He's my number 1 receiver. Chase was number 2. But I get the whole Burrow to Chase deal, and they needed a receiver who could stretch that defense, because guess what? Tyler Ford and Tee Higgins are really good. This guy makes them a lot better.
I just think about Burrow played 10 games, 32 sacks. He was on pace to be sacked 51 times. I just can't get that out of my head. Love the player, love my LSU guy, but I just can't get that out of my head.
Let's see what they do in the coming rounds. And address the offensive line.
Lewis, speaking of Jamar Chase, who does he remind you of?
The way he plays, he reminds me of A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans. Now, A.J. Brown is 25 pounds heavier. Jamar Chase is 0.2 seconds faster. But if you watch how they win, they both win with strength. These guys, pound for pound, are still going to be some of the toughest people to cover in the NFL because of their strength. Here, you see the ability to separate here as far as a route runner. You see him run the stutter go. It's just beautiful. Watch A.J. Brown. He can do the same thing. Again, although he's bigger, he can win this way too. That stutter go is not as nice as the one Jamar ran, but nevertheless, it still has the same effect. This is where they are very similar. Their toughness over the middle and the way they can play with strength. Here you see him just run a little option route. You see him catch that contested ball. Now he's gone. Now you see the 4-3. Now you see the open field running skill that you cannot arm tackle a guy like this. A.J. Brown is a beast. When you talk about catching slants over the middle, just look at this guy. This guy looks like Mr. Olympia playing football who can also run sub 4.5. And he's going to just kill you with his run after the catch. These two guys win very similar ways. Look, Joe Burrow has to be happy, but get him protected.
Yeah, I got
him protected.
All right, now, guys, let's go down to the stage. Snickers takes us down to Susie, who's standing by with Jamar.
Greeny, this has been Jamar Chase's dream since he was 8 years old. What's it like to be on this stage?
It's a blessing coming true, being out here with my family, experiencing, having this good experience. But, for the most part, I can't wait to get to work with Joe and back at the Bengals and the staff, so I'm ready to work.
All right, so now you're reunited with Joe Burrow, such amazing production. What do you need to do to be able to reach that type of production at the next level?
Yeah, I need to keep the same mindset that I always have, keep working, keep being competitive, and I think that'll take me a long way. Stay on the right road.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, you mentioned the partnership with Joe Burrow. They become the first teammates in the common draft era that were quarterback wide receiver from the same school that both got drafted in the top 10. And you see on your screen why that is. In their 26 games together, they were remarkably productive. Now,
I want to know the 2021 rookie who will have the most electrifying highlights next season.
I'm going with Jamar Chase. Okay. Not only am I excited about him rocking the new jerseys, I mean, we're all in love with the Cincinnati Bengals new jerseys, but I just feel like he is going to be a great addition. You got Joe Burrow back and healthy. He looks good. He's been throwing. I don't know if you guys seen clips of him out on the field. That combination between Joe Burrow and Tee Higgins was already great, right? So they're handcuffed together as they came in together to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now you add in Jamar Chase, who's going to be either the perfect complement or he's going to be a true number one. Speaking of number one, he's rocking number one this year. He already made his choice. So imagine that. He's wearing the same number that he wore in college, rocking number one as a wide receiver, looking to be the number one wide receiver on a team that already has a number one wide receiver. This team is going to be tough to stop. These wide receivers are young, they're talented, and they're hungry. Shout out to the Bengals. I got Jamar Chase.
It's tough to be chasing a guy whose name is Chase as you're running behind him. That's
a rock because this dude was balling. Every time the rock was thrown to him, he was a beast. I mean, that combination between Joe Burrow and Tee Higgins right out the gate, we know that these guys are going to be a duo for quite some time. And the thing about it, these guys added firepower. You bring in Jamar Chase to this offense? What is the defense going to do with two young studs that are willing and ready to go out there and ball out? Who are you going to double within this offense? I don't think you could pick just one guy. And if you put just one guy on Tee Higgins, a guy who had just under 1,000 yards and 6 TDs, 67 receptions, which tied a rookie record, which is Chris Collinsworth. Shout out to our guy, Chris. What do you think he's going to do up against one-on-one coverage? I don't care if it's your starter or your backup. And he would have had 1,000 yards, but he had a hamstring in week 17. So I know that Tee Higgins is going to show us so much more than he did in his rookie year, which was already impressive.
It's sort of easy to say. I thought it was wild that I was looking at rankings yesterday. Jalen Hurts is ranked higher at quarterback in fantasy. Obviously, the legs help that. Than a guy like Joe Burrow. I'm not even going to say that the addition of Chase helps Burrow lead the AFC North in passing yards. I think it helps lead this team to the playoffs. I am okaying that statement. Woo. Yeah, I said it. I saw the raised eyebrows from across the table. Listen, there's new playoff. And I'm just going to skip that one altogether. Yeah, all of it. Let's take it all together. I really like. I like Burrow. Both of them. I just doubled down. I said that, and I did what you do a lot. You're like, I'll only say this. I'll say this other thing. They're going to the Super Bowl. Okay. Here's the thing: we have expanded playoffs. 3 teams made it out of this division last year. And I think this Bengals team got better than a lot of people realize. They bolstered their offensive line. They added Trey Hendrickson. I loved seeing that. Former Saint who I liked. Chase with Tee Higgins is a nice thing. And Joe Burrow's going to make this happen. I really think so. We would have laughed if I had said the Jaguars in 2017 were going to make the playoffs and go to a title game. Same thing with the 49ers back in, what was that?
Boys, let's suit up.
If you're gonna talk that talk, then you better walk that walk. If you're gonna talk that talk, then you better walk that walk. Lot of wannabes, only one of me. They try to put me under pressure, put me under siege. Yeah, I'm a champ, I'm a legend, I'm a beast. Used to be the underdog, I got off the leash. I'm done barking, I only bite. Drop the roof for the night like it's only right. Hold it tight, both hands on the holy grail. Come and get it when you fail, you can hold the hell.
Hey, where's Burrow?
If you're gonna talk that talk, then you better know how to walk that walk. Tell the arc, let's run it. Everybody gunning for the top, let's run it. Go ahead, show me what you got, run it. This is where the shooters get shot down. This is where the hunters get hunted. Yeah, let's run it. If you ready, let's run it.
Y'all did have to fire Lampard. You hired Tuchel. You kind of walked into the top 4. So, congratulations. Bring it back full circle here, though. I mean, when you experience that kind of as a fan, how much do you kind of want to? Does that do anything for you as an athlete? Be like, this is what it feels like to win everything. Like, and I want to do this whenever we get back. I mean, does that translate at all? I'm just curious.
That's why I started doing push-ups like ASAP, to be honest. I like it's awesome to, as a fan of sports in general, right? Like you see a team win and you see how excited, like think the Bucs last year. Tom Brady absolutely just hammered, having a great time with his boys. Like I want that to happen. Like I want to see Joe Burrow absolutely hammered wherever we are, and me just feeding him more drinks and just tossing. That's the dream. Like that's why I play, to win and to have a good time with the boys. I want TB to be holding the bottle of Henny like J.R. Smith with the Cavs with his shirt off the entire off season. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want. So, seeing Chelsea win, seeing the scenes in the locker room, seeing Thomas come in and start spraying champagne, that's what I want. I want to be right after the Super Bowl. I want a bottle of champagne. I want to bust it open and just start spraying everyone with it. That sounded like I was an alcoholic. I'm not, but all the celebrations, there's alcohol involved. So, I'm like, all right, like I don't know. That's something that you dream of as a little kid. And that's something I still aspire for. And that's what we're working for.
Absolutely. Because personally, I believe us three will achieve 1,000 yards, and I think it's going to put so much stress on defenses to the point where they're not going to know what to do. I feel like even if they blitz us heavy, it's going to be a guy open every single time, because like I said, Chase, he's a route technician, but once he get into his zone, knowing what to do, that's when he can bring out all his tools and craft to get open like he's been doing, so it's the sky's the limit. I say this every year. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I think this is going to be a year where the whole nation talks about this offense.
We got a Fab Five going on in our backfield right now, or in our offense right now. Like I said, we got me, Joe Burrow, we got T, Chase, and TB out there.
Lightning inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, no, just you watch. I'm stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me, this is how legends are made. Up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle, harder I fight. I've come too far to quit. Step back, I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made. Like iron from the fire, getting stronger.